I'm Juan T. Salter, host of the Here We Are podcast. This podcast is dedicated to exploring topics of history, politics, queerdom, perspectives of Black folk, people of color, the American demographic future, geography, local issues and culture, all things Gen X, whatever else we discover along our nerdy way. We continue with this series of episodes delving deeper into a relevant topic of social and political late queerdom, and specifically the idea that LGBTQ plus people recruit, or as the right wing calls it, groom unsuspecting youth into choosing to be queer. Here at the Here We Are podcast, we'll turn that fallacy on its head by interviewing actual queer folk themselves. I want to add that the episodes may be a more heavily gendered male. That is because of who is in my circle. We'll be reaching out to more balance that, including today. We invited Monica, a biracial, queer, millennial, formerly incarcerated, caregiver, and recovering addict.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good.
Good. So the first question we always ask, how did you get to be here? That's kind of geography. How did you get to be here?
Well, I was born in Memphis, and then I was raised in Missouri. But after being in prison, my grandpa got diagnosed with dementia, so I came back here to help take care of him.
Okay. All right, the next juicy question. Where did you learn, or who taught you to be queer?
I was thinking about that because I was listening to some of your other podcasts, and I don't really know if anybody taught me. I do have, my auntie, she's a lesbian. One of my uncles is gay, so, I've seen it since I was young, but I was never really around them too much. But whenever I was younger, I was first attracted to females before anything. So I did end up being with most men my whole life, but I was always attracted to females first.
So, let me ask you this backup question. When did you or have you become exclusive?
Well, my first lesbian relationship was when I was in middle school.
Oh, okay.
And I brought her home to meet my mom, and then she left me for a guy.
Oh,
and
my
got
goodness.
pregnant.
Oh my goodness.
So that just kind of set it right there. I was like, yeah, no. I was heartbroken, and then I never was with females really until... No, I was with another female my freshman year of high school in California, but it was never really a sexual thing because I was younger until I went to prison. And then it's very open there, so I got into a relationship there. I was in a couple relationships, and then that's where I met my wife. Okay. She was an ACO.
What role models did you have for being gay? You mentioned your uncle and
my aunt, my grandpa's daughter, yeah. My uncle was never really around. I've never seen him with somebody. My aunt, she's been with her wife since I was born, since before I was born. Good. So I've always seen them together.
Which term is more acceptable for you, or are you more comfortable with? Gay, queer, same gender loving, lesbian?
I don't really care. It doesn't really bother me. I don't know, because I was with men more. I've always been called bi. Okay. But yeah.
I didn't think of that. I should see. That's why we're exploring more. Yeah. So you mentioned you brought, when you were in middle school, somebody home. So was that your coming out?
Yes. I came out when I was, I think 11 or 12.
Oh,
I went to my mom and I was like, listen, I got to talk to you. And she's like, yeah. I was like, I'm bi. Mm-hmm. And she's like, okay. And then, but I was maybe a month or two later, I was going to bring the girl home. So I told her again because she was didn't really say anything about it the first time, so I didn't know if she really heard me, Okay. And then when I told her a second time, she's like, I know. I already know. You told me. I'm like, oh, okay. I'm just making sure. My family was really accepting about it. Okay.
Do you have any regrets about your process?
No, because it's turned me into who I am. But I wish I would have just been more comfortable with myself before, because I was in a lot of toxic, abusive relationships with the men I was with. Okay. So if I would have just been a lesbian at the beginning, whenever I knew it, I would have probably wouldn't have been through all that, but it was worth it to be who I am now.
So this is kind of follow-up, did the kind of toxicness carry over to the lesbian relationships?
In the prison, a little bit with the first one, not so much physical, but just verbal abuse and stuff like that. And with my wife now, not so much as her, but since of my trauma, it's really hard to not be so defensive how I was then. Okay. Because getting abused, it's then I turned into the abuser at one point. Mm-hmm. And I try my hardest not to be like that with her, but I fall into those sometimes, and it's really hard.
I understand. Do you have any advice or wisdom you'd care to share with a younger person in the community that may be listening to this podcast?
Just to be who, like I'm sure most people say, just be who you are, because in the long run, it like makes you have more self-love than trying to hide who you are the whole time. And then finally, when you realize it, like me, I'm 27 now, and it's like I could have not been through a lot of the stuff I was through before.
Well, I want to thank you for being on Here We Are.
Thank you.